Do you ever feel a little bit manipulative if you start talking about some of the bad things that could happen if your customer doesn't take you up on your offer? Do you really just want to stay in the positive all the time because that's who you are? What if you could balance the positive and negative stakes in your StoryBrand marketing so that your narrative becomes irresistible and your hero, your customer, has a reason to take action? Tune in. Welcome to Inner Business, the podcast that delves deep into the soul of entrepreneurship. My name is Selena Woodward, seasoned business owner, qualified business coach, and intuitive guide. I'm going to offer you actionable steps to increase your revenue whilst we explore how you are showing up in your business. Let's explore the blocks and connect the dots on your journey to business fulfillment. Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the Inner Business podcast. As always, I am your host, Selena Woodward, the business coach who likes to ask you, what is your business trying to teach you? Now, today we are diving into the 6th and 7th step of the StoryBrand framework. Those are called Help Them Avoid Failure and Ends in Success. That's right, we have reached the final 2 sections of the framework. Woof! If you've missed out on all the previous episodes leading up to this moment, please make sure you head to selenawoodward.com/podcast. That's SELENAWOODWARD.com/podcast. You will find a heap of episodes there that are designed to help you craft a compelling, repeatable message designed to call your customers in, align your brand 100% to your purpose, and of course, attract you more clients. So much fun. So, what's in this episode, you ask? Well, we are about to start talking about steaks. No, not the kind you might find on a barbecue grill. I'm vegetarian, I'm not into that. But the kind that will drive your character to take action. The kind of steaks that drive a narrative forward and keep readers, i.e. your new clients, hooked. Remember that the StoryBrand framework is designed to help you tap into tried and tested methods that actually come from narrative writing or storytelling. The StoryBrand framework contains elements that are absolutely proven to capture an audience, to grab their attention, and marketing is an attention game. It is also about getting them to actually hear what you're saying. So in previous episodes, we've talked about brain stuff like cognitive dissonance and how this framework addresses that. It's a great framework. And what I find really funny at the moment is that this is something I used to teach as an English teacher to teenagers in high school when we were studying literature. We used to examine the same 7 elements of storytelling in literature we read. So we know that these elements are tried and tested. What we're doing here is taking them and applying them to business, and we're applying them to business copywriting and marketing. We're trying, as I say, to create a compelling, consistent message that is so binge-worthy that your clients is kind of like eating up what you're offering like they're watching Game of Thrones. It's cool, all right? They're leaning in because they recognize the hero of the story. It's them. They see themselves in that role. They are really cheering on the hero because if the hero succeeds in this story, maybe they can succeed too. Now that's what we're doing here. And again, if you're like, cool, I didn't know it could do this, and you want to know how, head to selenawoodward.com/podcast. Hey, comment below if you've been tuning in. If this is, the last episode in this series for you. What has been your biggest takeaway from all these episodes? What would you say to someone who's just stumbled across this one? Should they listen? What's your favorite one? It's all there waiting for you at selenawoodward.com/podcast. But beautiful, loyal listeners, which episode's been your favorite? Share in the comments. Give them the link so they can go straight there. Now, in narrative writing, as we say, there's always every story you've read, every TV show you've watched and loved, every movie that you've leaned into. There's always a moment in the narrative where the hero feels so uncomfortable. They are compelled to make a choice to move forward. And they are actually given a choice. And you have to give your customers a choice too. We've talked about this, right? Now, hopefully, they make the right choice. I know. And the choice will be to work with you. All right? But this tension, this moment of like, oh, will they, won't they? That is an amazing attention grabber. It is an amazing little moment for your brain where it starts to see survival. And it's like, I'm in, tell me everything. And in our marketing copy, we do exactly the same thing. And we're going to create this moment. It's called an inciting incident. And it's the reason that your customers will have to make a choice. All right? Hopefully, like I say, to move forward with you. But if we don't point out what's at stake, see, that's the kind of stake we're working with, then your hero of your narrative will just stay in their comfort zone and they won't grow. And we know what happens when we stay in our comfort zone. We actually start to shrink. We don't want that for our clients. So what we're doing in this section of the StoryBrand is really tuning into how we're going to pull our customer into the narrative where they see and recognize themselves as a hero and show them what success looks like and also what failure looks like. We are painting what we call the positive success and negative failure stakes. This is actually something called future pacing because we're showing them what life could look like depending on which of those choices they make, whether they choose to work with us and stay in that comfort zone or not. So what do you think? Have you thought about this in your copy? What kind of inciting incident, what kind of like pressure point is happening for your customers that will move them to take action? One of the best questions I ask in my sales calls is, what brought you to me today? Because that tells you exactly what the answer to that question is. But let me know in the comments below or share your thoughts over social or in our community over at Facebook. What is something that you think would line up with this that would make your customer go, do you know what, things have got to change? So let's start there. We'll start with the negative stakes. Now, if you're not driving and you've got a pen and paper, this is going to be great. I'm going to give you an activity. So we're going to start with the negative stakes because I know this is uncomfortable for us. As heart-led, beautiful, positive, open-hearted people, we don't like to spend time in the uncomfort, the discomfort, the uncomfortable truths of what's going on. But you know, here at the Inner Business Podcast, I do have a habit of asking you to just hang around in that discomfort just long enough to work out what that's teaching you. And that's kind of what we're going to do with our customers in our narrative. I know it's uncomfortable to say, hey, dude, if you don't do this, here's what life's going to look like. And we're not going to keep going on and on and on and on and on because that would be a bit weird and a bit creepy. But the reality is, if we do not show them the pain points, if we do not show them what will happen if they continue to make the choice to stay where they are, they won't feel that urgency to take action. They will stay in their comfort zone and they will shrink even further. Things will get worse. All right? So we want to show them what those potential pitfalls might be. So it's really cool. In the StoryBrand book, Don Miller talks about how every human being is trying to avoid a tragic ending. Now that sounds dramatic. Tragic ending. But our brains are wired for survival, not thriving or feeling awesome. We need to show them, the tragic ending. All right, we've got to show them the negative outcomes. Not in that doom and gloom way. We're just going to state the facts and we're going to give them a choice. Do you want to head in this direction? Right? Remember, if you don't do this, they can pretend it's not happening. They're not going to understand. Don't assume that they know where they're headed. So what are the negative things that will happen for your customers, your clients, if they don't choose to work with you? Now, how do you currently communicate this with your audience? Are you doing this already? Let us know in the comments below. How are you doing this in socials? I tell you, once you've got this list that we're going to create, you're going to see a whole heap of awesome content that you can create. So tune in, right? Let's keep this conversation going in the comments. Tell me, what are some of the negative stakes? How are you currently sharing that in your marketing? So for example, my clients, that's probably you guys who are building beautiful heart-led businesses, they are often wanting to feel like they're no longer overwhelmed. So a negative stake would be, I am overwhelmed and lost and I am really stressed out. That's what it will look like if they carry on doing what they're doing. Nothing's going to change, right? Often my clients have already invested in online courses. They've read all the books, they've tried all the things, but nothing has changed. And instead of feeling inspired, they're feeling drained and they do not love what they're doing. So I could say, look, if you choose to carry on with what you're doing, you're going to invest money in things that are not aligned and are not working for you. You are going to continue to run out of energy. You may even burn out because you're fighting against something you haven't quite explored yet. That's why you want to come work with me, so we can identify it and remove it for you. And sometimes they just want to avoid building a business that feels icky. And by that, I mean, if you've ever been to like a networking event and you've kind of masked because it's felt really awkward because you don't really want to be hustling and like, that's what I mean. They don't like that energy. And so we need to unpack that. So they will still feel that they don't belong in business. They will still feel like business isn't for them, because we need to do a bit of mindset shifting, right? So that's lots of stuff, right? That I can just straight away list are things that would continue to happen for my customers. They'll be stuck, basically, and they'll be stuck in that cycle. What they need is me, a guide on the side, someone with expert guidance who can give them the tools and strategies to unpack all of that and integrate those using intuition and their own self and their own filter, and also knows business really well, so can look at their business and show them what they can't see and get them unstuck. So here's what you're going to do, a little task for you. If you're not driving right now, be a bad idea to do this if you were. Pause me. Press pause on me, grab a pen and paper or Post-its, whatever your jam is, and for 3 minutes, that's my favorite number, 3 or 7, 3 minutes, I want you to set a timer on your phone and just write continually all the things that your customers would love to avoid happening that your products can help them avoid. So I gave you some examples there. In your business, what are the things that you want your customers to avoid that you can help them with? All right, press pause now, go. Did 3 minutes pass? If you're driving, sorry about that. Just ignore it, it's a bit uncomfortable. It's okay. Maybe do it in your head. You're back. Okay, so 3 minutes. What did you have on your paper? Feel free to share them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you came up with. And I bet, weirdly, that was really easy too. It's so much easier to come up with what we don't want than what it is that we do want sometimes. I'll help you with that. Now, these are your negative stakes, all right? And you can use these in your website copy. For example, if my customers don't want to be overwhelmed, I might do a social media post that says, feeling overwhelmed by your business? Here's how you can take back control and feel joy in your work again. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, I get that. All right. Or on your website, you might have a section that says, do these things sound familiar? And all of the negative stakes. Why? Because you've just spent some time getting into the psyche of your customer and they will see themselves there. Also, they don't really like this idea. They don't want to be there. And they may be Googling these things. So if they're on your website, boop, boop, Google will find you. All right. You might have a place that directly addresses these pain points, as we call them, on your website. All right. Now, if you want some support with that, just head to selinawoodward.com/magic and you'll find out how I can help you just there. So that's SELENAWOODWARD.com/magic. All right. Now, done that, negative stakes, we can just go, oh, thank God that's over. Didn't feel comfortable, did it? Do you know what? It doesn't feel comfortable for your customers either. That's the point. It's totally the point. All right, so let's flip this now. Let's go to the sunny side, the place we all prefer to be. What are the positive stakes? What are the outcomes your customer can look forward to if they choose to make a change? And that means possibly working with you. So there are 3 ways I would frame your positive stakes. And I want you to have loads more positive stakes than you do negative ones. So we're going to write on our paper short-term, mid-term, and long-term, because we want to be able to paint a picture of the impact of the work that they're going to do with you or the purchase they're going to make with you. So for example, in my coaching business, in the short term, my customers often feel like they've come home, like they belong, because they are finally in a space where they can be 100% themselves. If they want to pull tarot cards, if they want to use meditation, if they want to connect with their guides, this is a safe space. I am there with them. I'll bring my guides. I'll bring my cards. It's all good. If they don't, that's also totally fine. Whatever works for them. But in this space, they will 100% get the opportunity to be themselves. That's actually really important, because I can't help them build an authentic business if they don't trust me with themselves. All right? So that's one thing that happens straight away. The second thing that my customers get straight away are strategies in business and the tools they need to review and integrate those strategies and make sure they are the right choices for them and their business. I always say in my first session that I am not here to tell you how to build your business. I am here as your guide, as your coach, and everything we talk about needs to be filtered through your purpose, your mission, and your vision. Your business is 100% yours. It's in your heart. It's in your head. I'm not you. And if you do exactly what I tell you without learning these skills about how to filter them, how to integrate them, you won't build your business, you'll build mine. And then we feel like that's a lie again. Oh, I did that once. Oh, yeah, right. I learned all of this. So my customers immediately feel seen, heard, connected to themselves. They don't start hearing the word should all the time. They begin to see what their business is for what it is, in its truth, nakedness. Is it actually a business right now or even a hobby? They look at it, they build a better relationship with it, they nurture it, they learn how to look after it and themselves. They grow in confidence. In the midterm, pretty quickly, their business will grow in revenue and in strength, which in turn builds their confidence even further. Many of my clients love the moment when they reach the point where they can employ someone else to do the things they don't like. So they can stay in their zone of genius. Whoop, whoop. We love celebrating that. That is such a moment of joy and freedom for many. And in the long term, I talk to them about imagining their business running itself. Like they don't have to work 5 days a week. They can work as many or as few days as they like because they have a team. And so they're also spending more time with their family and they're living a lifestyle they've always wanted. It's gorgeous. That is the fairy tale ending that we want for our business, right? You're showing up in your business 100% as yourself. It is aligned. It feels awesome. When you walk into one of those business network meetings, you feel confident. You know it's not about fitting in. It is about belonging, okay? And so you're all cool. You're very confident and you have a lot of love for your business. So you're cool. You're completely in tune with who you are, with your intuition, and you are grounded and doing fabulously. All right. So what about you and your business? How does your product or your service benefit your customer in the short, like immediately, medium, the next quarter or a few months, and long term? So if I'm a florist, immediately I might get a response from my mum or my wife that just takes the whatever it was we were trying to remove. You know what, in the medium term, if I keep purchasing from you, maybe that's going to bolster my relationships and really help that deep connection form because I'm showing appreciation. Maybe the person I've got a relationship with is love language is gifts. Flowers are great. You know, work it through. Short term, medium term, long term. Okay, so again, I'm going to give you 5 minutes because you've got 3 sections this time. So if you're not driving, pen and paper, positive stakes, optional doodle of steak on barbecue, but that's not what we mean. Positive stakes, 5-minute timer, short, medium, long term. Ready, steady, pause. Me, not you. Yeah. Okay, you're back. Hi. How was that? Driving in the car, you're like, that was awkward. Hopefully you've had a minute there to, again, make some notes. Now, look at your lists, short, medium, long. Now we're going to make sure that, like all great narratives, we have closed the story loop. Do you remember me talking in the second step of the StoryBrand framework about opening a story loop? And we did that by identifying a problem our customer had and defining that in 3 lenses. Again, head to selinawoodward.com/podcast if you've missed that one. It's a good episode. Tune in. We now need to look at your positive stakes and check it against those problems. So, for example, if I said that the external problem for my clients is they don't have the tools and strategies to grow their business in a way that is filtered through them and is aligned to their purpose, somewhere in my positive stakes, I need to be saying that they have those tools and strategies. I need to be talking about how their business is growing aligned in their purpose. Do you see? Closing the story loop. If internally my customer's feeling is they're feeling stuck, I need a feeling in my positive stakes that is the opposite of that. Freedom, calm, they have a plan. Give them the opposite. Give them what they needed. And if my philosophical problem was that they deserve to grow a business that is 100% aligned to who they are and fulfills their purpose, then I need to mention that in the positive states. I need to show them that that is what they've built now because they've worked with me. They've used my services and my products. So just take a minute, if you've been with me on this journey, to go back to your customer segment, look at the problem through those 3 lenses, and make sure you can draw a string like this in the positive stakes to them. Go do that. Pause me and have a look. And if you haven't done that episode, selinawoodward.com/podcast. Do it. Now, what you've got there now is a really beautiful list of great reasons to work with you. Reasons that they will succeed if they say yes, and reasons that life's going to get a bit icky and stormy if they say no. We are now in a place where our customers are very informed about what could be happening. All right? What the stakes are. Why they need to make this choice. How does that feel? Feels good, right? And again, on your website, you can leave a section about what happens when they work with you. Do you want these things? In your socials, you can do the same thing. Carousels, reels, whatever you like, based on these lists of things that you have written out. In your nurture emails, you want to talk about these successes and these failures. And hopefully your testimonials that you gather, having listened to the episode on that and how to do that, will directly correlate to some of these things that you've written. You will have customers saying, yeah, I feel free. I don't feel overwhelmed anymore. This is amazing. So all the dots are joining in authority too. See how it goes? It is so powerful. The StoryBrand framework is amazing. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, Selina, I have listened and I'm like, heck, I haven't done that and I haven't done that. I need your help. selinawoodward.com/magic is where you will find all the information about messaging magic and how I'm happy to help. In fact, that happened last week. I have a beautiful new client who's been listening to the podcast and has now signed up. You know who you are. Hi there. And I cannot wait to work on their businesses. It's going to be awesome. So head to selinawoodward.com/magic and you can find out how I can help you. And if you go to the bottom of that page, there's even a fun quiz you can take right now. And when you do that, my lovely computer system will generate a report for you, which I have spent hours putting together, that will give you some suggestions about how you can move forward as well. So you can either work with me or my computer or both, whatever you like. SelenaWoodward.com/magic. Now, if any of today's content has resonated with you, and I'm sure it has, please comment below and tell me what your biggest takeaway has been today. I would love to connect with you and hear about how you're planning to apply these strategies to your business. So you can always connect with me on Instagram at BizCoachSelena, Selena. You can join our free community over on Facebook. It's facebook.com/SWoodwardCoach. And of course, you need to hit subscribe to either this podcast program that you're using, or if you're watching me on YouTube, press that button so you never miss another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and getting all the way to the end of this episode of the Inner Business Podcast. Remember to reach out if you have any questions, comment below, or head to SelenaWoodward.com and book a free consult with me. But just keep building your beautiful business in a way that is 100% authentically in your purpose. That's super important to me. That is why I'm here. That's it for this week's episode. I will see you next week for the Inner Business Podcast.